Hello you lovely people and welcome. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Aeroplane Heaven's Hawker Hurricane Mark 1. Now as you can see I've got the liveries here in front of me. I believe there's 17 in all. So now just do a quick rundown of each livery. So first one is Golf Zulu Lima, and this was flown by then acting flight leader Pete Brothers, 32 Squadron RAF Biggin Hill 1940. Brothers had a long and illustrious career with the RAF and rose to the rank of Air Commodore. Next we have Lima Echo Delta, and this was flown by Squadron Leader Douglas Barder, 242 Squadron RAF Coleshill 1940. Barder, the legless ace, scored most of his Battle of Britain victories in this machine before transferring to Spitfires. It carries his famous booting Hitler nose art. Barder was eventually shot down and taken prisoner for the rest of the war. Next we have Sierra Delta Foxtrot, and this was flown by Flight Sergeant, yep that's right, we had flying NCOs back in the day, J.H. Ginger Lacey, 501 Squadron RAF Gravesend, September 1940. Ginger Lacey was a pilot who became a famous top scoring ace during the Battle of Britain. Now something that's a bit different. So this is Uniform Foxtrot Sierra, and this was flown by Flight Lieutenant Mike Robinson, 601 Squadron RAF Exeter in 1940. Whilst flying this machine, Robinson destroyed 4 aircraft with another claimed damaged. The aircraft carries an unconventional striped marking and a red, white and blue spinner, none of which was officially sanctioned by the RAF. Here we have Delta Tango Alpha, and this was flown by Squadron Leader Bob Stanford Tuck, commanding 57 Squadron RAF Coleshill 1940. This is Golf November Alpha, and this was flown by Flight Lieutenant James Brindley Nicholson, 249 Squadron RAF Leconfield, Yorkshire, August 1940. Nicholson was the only Battle of Britain pilot to be awarded the Victoria Cross, following action on the 16th of August in which he was shot down, suffering horrendous burns despite his horrific injuries. Nicholson pressed home his attack and destroyed an Me-110 before bailing out. This is Romeo Foxtrot Romeo, and this was flown by Polish pilot Józef Franciszek, RAF Volunteer Reserve 303 Warsaw Squadron RAF, September 1940. Franciszek successfully crash-landed this aeroplane, having been battle damaged in a skirmish with the Bf-109. Tango Mike Bravo, flown by Flight Lieutenant Raymond T. Holmes, 504 Squadron RAF. It was in this aircraft that Holmes, out of ammunition, deliberately rammed a Dornier and the first enemy aircraft over London, causing it to crash into Victoria Station. Holmes survived both the ramming and the war. Onto Uniform Papa Whiskey. This was flown by various pilots of 605 Squadron RAF Drem, 17th of August 1940. Flying 49 sorties in the Battle of Britain, it is credited with 5 victories. What makes this particular aircraft special is that it still survives to this day in flying status, making it the only genuine Battle of Britain veteran still flying, and its reg is R4118. And so we have next to it Uniform Papa Whiskey Restored. Now this is the obviously the previous aircraft, but in a more up-to-date restored status, and this is the only one of the Hurricanes in this whole package that comes complete with a INS, a GPS unit that you can use. So you can either fly old school way using just Uniform Papa Whiskey, or you can fly with the bells and whistles of modern navigation in the Uniform Papa Whiskey Restored. And now we come on to the second model that is included in the package of all 3, and that is the Sea Hurricane with the 1 Bravo. So here we have 7 Tango, and it's a Sea Hurricane assigned to HMS Victorious during Operation Pedestal, a supply convoy to Malta, August 1942. Next we have something a little bit different. And this was at a time when they were experimenting with camouflage paint schemes for the naval variants. So this is what will be in comparison to the Coastal Command of what the heavies were wearing at the time. So this is just Mike, a Sea Hurricane serving with 800 Squadron Fleet Air Arm out of Royal Naval Air Station Gosport in 1940. This machine was part of a training squadron. This is Kilo Echo Mike, and a Sea Hurricane of the Merchant Ship Fighter Unit, and these guys had some serious coconuts. These Hurricanes were launched by catapult from the bows of merchant ships to protect valuable convoys. Okay, so it's one thing being launched off of an aircraft carrier with a flight deck that is made for that purpose, but being catapulted off the bow of a merchant ship, yeah, that's something completely different. So this aircraft had a one-way trip. The aircraft could not be recovered, and unless the action was near friendly land where it could be set down, the pilot had no option other than to ditch the aircraft or bail out. Either way, it was a cold, wet ending to his day out. This one is a little bit special. 7 Lima is a Sea Hurricane 1 Bravo, and here it is depicted as it is displayed as part of the Shuttleworth collection at Old Warden. Meticulously restored, this example is seen performing air shows on a regular basis. Now, I could be wrong, and I normally am, but I think this is the only airworthy Sea Hurricane in the world at the moment. I could be wrong. I knew there was one at Duxford at some stage, and I'm not sure if it's this one that got transferred to Old Warden or whatever, or if they've still got that one at Duxford and it's being restored. I'm not 100% on my World War II Warbirds, so if I'm wrong, let me know. And now we come on to our third and final variant that's included in the package, and that's the Hurricane with the tropical filter, as you can see, just under prop. And this one is the Royal Australian Air Force, and this is V7478, and the only Hurricane to be delivered directly to Australia. So it's a tropicalised Mark 1. This aircraft remained on Australian soil till it was scrapped in 1946. This is 284 Juliet and was flown by Lieutenant Bob Kershaw of 3 Squadrons, South African Air Force in East Africa, March of 1941. And we have something of an unconventional sort of livery. This is Z4615 and a tropicalised Hurricane flown by the 3 French pilots in the Middle East. This aircraft began its flying career with number 80 Squadron RAF in June 1941. It was eventually struck off charge in 1943. Next we have a scheme which is just labelled as clay. I believe this is part of the paint kit, and it's just a blank canvas to design your own liveries. Last but not least, reverting back to an original Hurricane Mark 1, we have the Air Transport Auxiliary, and of course many of the squadrons in World War II would not be where they were without the Air Transport Auxiliary and the female pilots that flew the aircraft and ferried them around the country. And this livery has been added in honour of the females that flew the Air Transport Auxiliary, and inside the cockpit of this variant is a female pilot. So from 1941, Hurricanes and many other aircraft such as Spitfires and Lancasters were ferried between operational airfields, the factories and OTUs by the pilots of the ATA. Many of these pilots were women who amassed a huge number of flying hours on all types throughout the war. In honour of these amazing women, we have included a special delivery package with a female pilot, and just right as well, so they should be included. So yeah, that's it for the liveries. Let's jump in and have a look in the cockpit. Okay, so for this next part of the review, decided to use Douglas Bader's aircraft, Lima Echo Delta, and I've chosen to fly from Duxford. The reason is because the two go hand in hand, because Douglas Bader flew from RAF Duxford when he made his transition to Spitfires on 19 Squadron at 29 years old. so it makes sense. And if you didn't know, a random fact, Douglas Bader used to drink at the Red Lion pub in Whittlesford, which is just by the railway station, not far from the McDonald's. Random fact, but there you go. So let's have a look around the cockpit, shall we? So starting from the left hand side, we have canopy lock, the cowling removal. This button here will bring up the RAF fuel bowser. We've got cockpit floodlighting, oxygen. Down here we've got landing lamp dip control, our trim wheels. This is a friction, selecting our main tank or reserves. Throttle, mixture, radio frequency selector there. Beyond that we have prop pitch, compass light, nothing else up here. We've got the swap com button there. Okay, and then from across from that we've got supercharger system, landing lights left or right, starter cover, under that is a starter button, boost cover, under that is a boost coil button. We've got magnetos there, 1 and 2, pressure head heat, nav lights. Up from that we have the emergency boost control, or what was called pulling the plug, clock. Up here we have set delivery height, oxygen supply, and that stuff there. We have a pulley to open the canopy, so you can pull that forwards or backwards. Just under the glare shield there we have a gear indicator light. Flicking that will bring on the lights. It was never a permanent thing to be on. They would flick it on just to make sure that the gear system is showing how it should be, and then they'd flick the light back off again and would only flick that back on as and when they needed it. Yoke visibility here, we'll get rid of that for the minute. We've got the P11 compass there, and then what is called the Flying 6. What you'll notice is this panel here is pretty much common across the board on most of the World War II fighters, whether it be United States Air Force, Royal Air Force. Transitioning from one aircraft to the other was pretty simple because your main flying instruments were on the Flying 6. So you've got your speed, altitude, artificial horizon, VVI, turn slip indicator, and your compass. So keeping it simple, you've got RPM gauge there, you've got reticle sunshade. You pull that, does what it says on the tin. Under there we have our gun sight reticle switch, that will bring the sight up. Here we have our boost pressure, oil pressure, fuel pressure and temperatures, our fuel. Under here we have Morse code, bottom light and start magneto. Here we have our primer, so you click to unlock and then you can pump here and then lock it back up again. Coming across, down here we have a toggle differential braking or rudder steering. I'll come back to that shortly because there is a bit of an issue which is being addressed by Aeroplane Heaven anyway. Here we have power selector, whether it's ground from the battery cart or if it's just in flight. Here is our flap and gear, so pulling it across you'll do your flaps and then you click up to bring them up or down to bring them down. So you hold it in position to set it where you want, or you can use what I have on mine is it does the next setting as I push down or up, and there's eight different gradients in each direction. Coming across, and this is your landing gear, up or down. So a universal lever there for both of those. Under here we've got forced landing flare release, windscreen de-ice, and then back here there's nothing else that's clickable. I don't think we've got anything here. So let's jump out and have a look at the aircraft. So on the external of Lima Echo Delta, I've got to say the liveries are absolutely stunning. The amount of wear, tear, the colours, everything about it, it just looks absolutely fantastic. Some of the best external textures I've seen on a Warbird in a while, to be honest. Far exceeds the P47. Even the modelling, the rippling of the skin, the rivets. In VR, which I will say now, this aircraft is not, this module is not built for VR. Well, it is built for VR use, but they have no way of testing it. And again, there'll be another issue that I bring up in a bit. But being inside the cockpit, looking out, you can see the stressed skin, little dents, dings, everything like that. I mean, the modelling on this has been absolutely superb. It really does look good. So let's jump in. I'm going to select a few external bits and pieces, and we'll come back and have a look. Right, now we are going to select this button here for the refueling Bowser, and I'm going to put the power into the battery cart. As you'll see, everything comes up. Still not a fan of the gun reticle, but each to their own. I'm going to switch that off with this here. Okay, and we'll jump outside and have a look. Right then, let's push the boost coil. Start. Beautiful. Okay, so let's give it a bit of a rev. Yep, that sounds like a Merlin to me. Sounds very good as well. It's a dynamic. Let's have a close the canopy and lock it up. Very good, nice, like it. No, I love it. I hear Merlins daily because I live in a big open bit of space where Spitfires come out from Duxford, Mustangs and things like that. Yeah, they do their aerobatics and stuff over the house, which is a sound I never get tired of. So, what do we do next? Okay, so a bit of I'm going to speak about the differential braking. At this moment in time, differential braking is reversed. So if you push down on the right brake pedal, you'll turn left, and if you press vice versa. If you push down on the left one, you'll turn right. So they are aware of that. There is a fix coming. They're already working on an update already, as well as the missing texture there. And some other bits and pieces that I may have missed. So I did email them. They emailed me back, which was really quick, just to let me know that a fix was in the works. So if you bought it and you know of these issues, don't worry, an update is forthcoming. So what we can do now, let's have a listen to the sounds on the outside. Okay, so let's give it a bit of a rev. absolutely lovely. Let's try the prop picture. Lovely, absolutely fantastic sounds, I've got to say. Proper good. Okay, so let's jump back in. I'm going to zero out the altimeter. Okay, and we're all good to go. You can close the covers. Okay, and right, we'll take the parking brake off. Don't need any flaps. Okay, so the ground handling is quite sensitive as it's connected to rudder. And just give you a quick example of the differential braking. So pushing the right brake pedal, pushing the left brake pedal. Okay, so like I say, fixes in the works, so all is good on planet Earth. Okay, yeah, so like I say, it's a bit sensitive, but as you would expect with a tail dragger and being connected to rudder pedals. Brakes are pretty good, not over the top, and certainly do the job well. Okay, so pass Arco. Get ourselves onto the runway. I'm going to take off on the proper runway, land on the grass strip. Okay, there's no tail wheel lock in this, not that I've seen, so a bit confused by that. I thought all tail draggers had a locking system, unless I've missed it. So what we're going to do, just throttle up very slowly, and like we do with all old Warbirds where we expect a bit of torque steer, we'll just lightly correct that until we're up in the air. So brakes off, and we're going to throttle up. Not to overcompensate, otherwise you'll get into trouble. Okay, and we're up, gear up, trim out. I'm not even on full power, about 50% I think, if that. And there we go, we are full whack now. As you'd expect with a good old nimble World War II aircraft, the authority, both rudder, roll and pitch, is fantastic. Top. Beautiful. Flies like a dream, this thing, it really does. Can we get a loop out of it? Nose down slightly, get speed up, pull back. Okay, I'm just going to pull off of the throttle. Just let it nose down. Open it up again. Okay, head towards Watersford quickly. wrong way. Watersford is back this way. Follow the road out. In fact, Watersford is just below me. There's a train station, and Barda's old drinking hole is down there. So there you go. Another weird, strange fact about Douglas Barda that you might not know about. Well, most people knew he had no legs, he lost them flying. But most people believed that he could sustain higher Gs for longer in longer turns because there were no legs for the blood to rush to. Take that as you will. Another weird fact. Well, whether it was fact or not, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know how that would work. I'm going to head back towards Duxford. Now, I've not used the boost, the emergency boost, as there is a warning in the manual. Pilots would use the boost to get more out of the aircraft, obviously. More boost you get, more power you get. Until the ground engineers found that the Merlins were deteriorating a lot quicker than they should be. So it was forcibly stopped by the Royal Air Force to be able to use the emergency power unless it was a genuine emergency. Otherwise they'd be going through Merlins at a rate of knots. So it says in the manual, use at your discretion, so I'm not sure if you can actually kill the engine at all or what. But it's not something I've investigated yet. As you can see, very nimble aircraft, and very easy to command, very powerful. There is a reason why this aircraft got so many kills during the Battle of Britain, other than the fact that it's completely awesome, and it's usually the forgotten fighter. The Spitfire usually takes all the accolades, when in actual fact it was the Hurricane that did the majority of the fighting during the Battle of Britain, got most of the kills. Right, so I'm going to bring this thing into land, we'll do a run and brake. The run and brake was actually conceived during World War II, believe it or not. It was a way of getting to their airfields and splitting off without any enemy fighters trying to shoot them down while they were trying to land. So they'd run in, brake, and if anybody chased after them, they knew that they were in trouble. If nobody chased after them, they could get into the landing configuration and bring it down. Listen to that sputtering, that's awesome. So I need to get below 120 knots, we can get the gear down, we'll start bringing the flaps down now. Now, in the fully flaps down and gear down configuration, this thing has a stall speed of around about 55-60 miles an hour, I believe. 85 miles an hour if in the everything retracted. So the flap indicator is showing everything's all down. Prop pitch is halfway, and going to land on the grass strip. Throttle back now. Get a 3-pointer. Lovely stuff. Brilliant. Ooh, just be careful on the rudder. Obviously with the steering connected to the rudder, could cause some issues. Not sure why there is a Predator drone here, but ignore that. Let's make our way back. There's two of them here. It's a bit bizarre. Oh, okay. A bit sensitive there. I've easily spun that round. Okay, brakes on. Kill the engine. Let's open the canopy. Beautiful. And here we have the gorgeous 7 Tango Sea Hurricane, which, as I mentioned previously, is flown and stored at Old Warden, funnily enough, where I am at the moment on an airshow day. And pretty much exactly the same as the Hurricane Mark 1, except obviously this area of the fuselage must have been strengthened in some way skeletally, simply because there is the addition of the arrestor hook, which if you have a button bound for arrestor hook, that will deploy when you push the button. Well, it will toggle it. As far as I can tell, there is no way of activating that inside the cockpit. I have looked, I can't find anything. When I push my bound button, nothing changes in cockpit. There's no hidden switches or levers or anything, so you will need to bind that to a button of some sort. And another bug that I just come across while I was making this, if you are inside the aircraft, we're going to undo the canopy. Okay, jump back outside, canopy is still closed. But again, like I say, there is an update coming, so yeah. So on to the review. So what do you get for your money? So, starters, you get 3 beautifully modelled Hurricane Mark 1s, whether it be the Mark 1 standard, the Mark 1 Sea Hurricane, or the Mark 1 with tropical filter. You get 19 liveries in all. Bit of a correction from the 17 that I said at the beginning. You get 17 main in-service liveries. You get a clay livery, which is one without markings or camo, and then you get the air transport auxiliary, which I don't think is fair to not include as a main livery in itself, just an additional in honour of females. I reckon it should be in the mix anyway, regardless. So you get 18 useful liveries. The Merlin 2 sounds absolutely fantastic, both inside and out. The pilot models are fantastic as well, and you get a very nice flight model. Ground handling could be a little bit better, but like I say, the differential braking, which is being included in this variant, once that fixes out, will be a nice addition, because it really is overly sensitive sometimes, especially at low speed, where you'd expect it to not be sensitive at all, because there's no air blowing over the rudder to get that aircraft to turn. So yeah, it's a bit touch and go on that, but it's not a deal breaker. Then I mean, the authority and the engine controls, fantastic. Everything is very easy, very simple, surprisingly simple, to be honest. And the flying, taking off and landing is also very easy, compared to the P-47, which they released previously. P-47 is a bit of a anus to get off the ground. It likes to kick about a bit, whereas the Hurricane seems a bit more streamlined and sort of really does as it's told. So I can't complain at it, really. I mean, I paid $18.99 from Just Flight. You can get it from Aeroplane Heaven's own store, and I believe it could be over on Sim Market, and it's on Warbirds. But yeah, totally worth the money. A lot of fun has been had with this already. I've already flown it most of the day. I've been doing tail chasing with other users who have got the same aircraft. Had a lot of fun over Duxford in it. Brilliant if you like to do your air shows, things like that. So at the price of $18.99, you're getting a highly detailed model, as in the aircraft itself, nicely beautifully modelled Merlin 2, extras such as the fuel bowser, and yeah, quite a bit for your money, to be fair. Decent price, excellent sounds, and a lot of fun. So highly recommended, and I think this is be an aircraft that I use quite a lot. So if you got this far, thank you for watching, and as always, take care, and I will catch you in the next one.